welcome back. So yeah, another camera mount's different. Right now, we're not gonna be on the lathe yet. This is gonna be tricky. I'm still not exactly sure. I've got to tear something apart first. I'm not even exactly sure how to tear this thing apart and to save the wood. So yeah, I'm going to turn this organ. It was given to me to do whatever with, make a bowl out of, by my aunt and uncle. And supposedly this thing's early, well, 1920s, 30s, somewhere around in there. It's old foot pedal organ. And I have plenty of flat wood. Not going to use a mirror. Absolutely not. I can straighten that up. But absolutely looking like this is going to be a massive glue up. Massive glue up. And I'm going to try to incorporate the keys and maybe some of the knobs and whatever else or other goodies inside of this thing that I find. I don't even have a clue where to start on this thing yet. I've just got to get it tore apart. I do believe this center here is black walnut. This is possibly poplar because it's versus much lighter wood. Wouldn't be harder to work on the straps. So that's possibly what that is. We're definitely gonna be using this stuff. Okay, so you can see I've already got a ring right here. This thing right now is 12 inches, which that will not allow any kind of wiggle room in the pressure pot. So I'm gonna take it down to 11.5. That way, when I go to cast the keys inside of here, I'll be able to use some popsicle sticks and split them in half and use them as a barrier to hold the tape out of the void. Because I'm only gonna be running with like 1/8 of an inch of clear on the top between the outside and the top of the keys, so this wall's gonna end up being about 1 inch from what I measured with the keys, so can't be having to mess up some tight tolerances, unfortunately. So I went ahead and taped this up to make sure they fit well, and ironically enough, I did not measure the circumference of what the bowl was and measure the keyboard on the organ, but they all fit perfectly. So I know the last part of that video y'all saw a horrible cast come out. And some of you who follow me on Instagram and seen the short video, it took me a little while to get back to this thing. It kind of ticked me off a little bit. So I set it over in the corner to think about what it had done, so to say, while I figured out what I was gonna do. And sometimes, you know, just take a minute, put things to the side, and life will provide answers. So I was at a job site and they was about to get rid of this old piano in there, and they was kind enough to let me take the keys off of it. So that's what I did. I turned away all the original keys. I hated to do that, but there was no way to save those things, and went through all the steps, double check, triple check to make sure I wasn't going to mess anything up or miss any processes and have another failed casting. So this one came out just absolutely perfect, and I'll show you that real quick. As you can see, I mean, that's just clear as a bell. There are a few places in here, I don't know if you can really see them with the camera very well. You kind of see how that black key has a white spot on the side of it? Some have that, some don't. I have no clue where that came from at all. I'm not really seeing it too well on the camera. You can see that right there. I don't know if it's reflection or what in the world that is. So fingers crossed this thing just doesn't let go, because that's almost a full 12 inches cast. Weighs in right now at 23 pounds, which is hefty. And if this stuff lets go, that's gonna hurt so bad. So let's get this thing turning. And I solved my music problem. Got me a nice set of headphones to put on so I can jam out while I'm turning and I don't have any strings attached, because I know a lot of y'all like to hear the sound instead of me playing music in the background to cover my radio in the background. To bring this down flat and make sure it's good and flat, I'm going to use a piece of foam and hook and loop to get it down. Might end up coming in. I might come back in here with a piece of wood and this just to get it good and flat, because I don't want the rim of it to be all wee wee wee, because you'll be able to see it as big as it is. And what I'm gonna do about sanding, so I've got done with 320. I'm gonna come in here and wet sand with some Danish oil, starting at 400, and I'm gonna take it as high as I can go because I want the wood to be natural, like a semi-gloss, but natural. And then I'm gonna buff the epoxy banding. But this Danish oil wet sanding, it's kind of like wet sanding with water, but you don't want water in the wood. So this is safe to use for that. And you're gonna wanna do it slow because you'll end up getting, the sandpaper won't be on the wood, it'll be gliding on top of the oil. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and just soak it down that way I don't have to reapply that much while I'm sanding. And what'll happen with the wood chips or shavings as you're sanding, it'll fill in any kind of small pores or whatever also. It's a little trick that I found to be useful. And yes, I'm going to go ahead and wet sand the epoxy with this. So I ended up stopping at 1,000. I think I'm probably just gonna come in here with the bill buffing system and go through the brown tripoli, the white diamond, and then maybe some wax. We'll see, because I want to leave it like with a kind of a matte finish. So we'll just have to see how that works out. But now, it's the final lap, I guess you could say. If anything goes wrong at this point, I'm probably just going to sit in the corner and cry. Why do I have a wobble? We're just going to have to deal with it and work through it. Now we're good. Much quicker. There we go. Seriously? Oh, you got to be kidding me. There we go. All right. Now I'm gonna wet sand with the oil like I did the other part. But I'm gonna bring this back up into here. After that Danish oil cures, I'm pretty sure, well, not pretty sure. I know after the Danish oil cures, I can get the city glue to stick to it. I just don't want this thing going anywhere while I'm sanding on it. So I stopped on this thing on the white diamond. I did the tripoli first and the white diamond. I didn't do a wax on it because I didn't want to go super glossy. I'm gonna hand buff it with a paper towel or microfiber cloth, get all that other residue that's, I mean, see, it's all over the place. now it's time for the bloop. And I'm gonna use some, I know that says DNA, but this is Star Bond medium thin. I'm just gonna come in here and I know these things have adhesive backs on them, but I figure some good old CA glue would make them better. And